As I've been promising for a couple of weeks now, I will be doing a long-form CNN video, and because of so many stories that are out there on this particular death spiral, well, it's taken a little longer than I'd hoped, but I thought I would offer up one of those stories, in fact, something very recent that will definitely be included in the video, and let me tell you, this thing is juicy for this particular news agency, or so-called news agency, if you will. And for your consideration, the developing disaster and the massive purge that is CNN. This should be fun. Here we go. The massive amount of questionable content that has come from CNN over the years is something that many other news organizations and, of course, pundits have commented on. It has even become the point of humor for comedians, television shows, even late-night hosts recently. And yeah, it's pretty ridiculous and pretty obvious. And as stories break about the government that has been buying coverage for the global crisis recently, and it probably doesn't come as any surprise to any of you that CNN was a part of that, and it's probably no surprise that they frame their stories around a particular agenda. This agenda may come from the top of a mega corporation or mega corporate structure, or in the case of CNN, from the head of the worldwide content, and of course that was Jeff Zucker. Well, at least it used to be. Anyway, Jeff was exposed for, well, whatever he was doing, recently, and was a no-no for a very long time. But before that, he was exposed by an investigative news outlet that will be nameless for the purposes of this video, and you probably already know who they are, since their initials are PV. I mean, take a wild guess. The story was something that clearly pointed out that the current goals of CNN, or the then current goals of CNN as a news network, wasn't about the news. It was about a particular political agenda and, well, ousting the occupant of a current political office. And of course, those goals may not have been the actual goals of the corporate parent, but rather just an individual set of goals, or goals aligned with a particular ideology or set of ideologies that fit within a particular, well, mindset, if you will. Since next week we're going to have a long-form video about CNN finally coming out, we're going to focus strictly on today's subject matter, or the video is going to focus on today's subject matter, which will also be included in the long-form video. Well, at least an abbreviated version of it will be, since there's so much information to talk about when it comes to the downfall of CNN. So let's talk specifically in today's video about the Purge. That's right, there's a purge coming at CNN. Let's take it from this story here. Developing. CNN disaster reported. Multiple stars face hatchet as new management plans talent purge. This is coming from Richard Moorhead. It was written on March 9th, which was yesterday, and it's pretty interesting, right? I've been talking about a purge for a while, and a lot of content creators over there, corporate content creators over there, have made their exit. There will soon be more. CNN hosts who traffic in misinformation and political partisanship may soon be shown the door. After the forced departure of former CEO Jeff Zucker, executives at CNN's parent company are reportedly eyeing a reform for the network. Well, I'm not sure I carry as much enthusiasm for this as this particular, well, story seems to be ginning up, but I can tell you that the person that was selected to replace Zucker may not necessarily be the right person for this particular job and the way they want it portrayed, but I'll continue. Executives at Discovery, which is merging with the CNN parent company, AT&T, reportedly want to distinguish CNN from the partisan flame-throwing and liberal color commentary that defined the network during the Trump candidacy or presidency, excuse me. Discovery executive John Malone. This is a name you need to be familiar with for, obviously, the long-form video because it's important. He's leading the effort to transition CNN in the direction of hard news coverage, according to the Washington journalist John Nicosia. Well, from John Nicosia's very own Twitter, apparently, he says, source, John Malone, Discovery's board member, will play a huge role in the new organization's plans to return CNN to its news channel roots and dismantle the partisan organization Zucker shifted it into. They continue. This will mean a large realignment of staff. Read Purge. Fire. Stuff canning. Haha, you thought I was going to curse. Malone is reportedly moving to push some of CNN's most partisan hosts by the end of spring, according to Nicosia. John Nicosia says, this realignment will start with CNN anchors, one who was very close to Zucker and will have a hard time transitioning away from opinion, will be out by spring. Holy cow. I don't doubt it, though. I've been hearing this for a while from a lot of different sources, and I think there are a few people here in our chat today that have heard some similar things. This is not going to go easily for a few, but we'll continue with the story. Nicosia's source could be referring to Brian Stelter or Don Lemon, both of who were thought to be close with Zucker during his tenure at the network. Lemon actually delivered an unabashedly emotional on-air message praising Zucker after his ouster. Technically, Zucker ousted himself, but again, we'll fall back into that in the long-form video. Zucker was forced out by CNN for failing to disclose a workplace affair with a colleague. Malone wants the network to focus more on hard news than opinion, according to a UK Daily Mail report from February. Well, that's not news. We've been talking about this longer than that, but I'll keep going. The media executive is pointed to coverage of ukulele as content that transcends CNN's political partisans bent, according to a separate Nicosia Twitter post that you can see elsewhere on Twitter. Partisan content has failed to translate into rating successes, no kidding, in the post-Orange Man era, with CNN routinely obliterated by Fox. There you go. Both Stelter and Lemon have languished in ratings dungeons in comparison to their peers since the start of 2021. Well, I wonder why. It's common for CNN hosts to place more emphasis on criticizing Fox News segments, of course they do, or old news from the Orange Man era than it is for them to scrutinize U.S. governmental policy and world events. Well, that's very true. You just have to watch for 10 or 15 minutes, especially with those two hosts. CNN has also been rocked by ethics scandals, with both hosts and executives caught colluding with disgraced former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to secure favorable coverage. Also, as an aside, the current case that's going to jury trial with Don Lemon, which nobody's talking about, which surprises me. But again, the long form video, more information. Former host Chris Cuomo, Andrew's brother, otherwise by some other people called Fredo, was forced out in a scandal in which he faced a harassment allegations, at the very least. A longtime CNN producer was also arrested last year on federal trafficking, insert another word, three-letter word in front of that, and bad behavior with kids charges. I don't even know how to deal with that particular story. We're continuing to see CNN associated with a lot of different issues, and I can tell you that Mr. John Malone is none too pleased. He has been the biggest advocate for returning CNN to a hard news network with far fewer editorial and commentary pieces. I can understand why he would want to do that, to try to bring back people to, this particular network, one in which he owns a financial interest in. It obviously makes a lot of sense. Also, it would help to restore some of this nation's, faith in what is supposed to be an unbiased news media. Well, we'll have to see if that actually happens, but I thought that this was an interesting story, so I have to bring it to a question, and that question is for you. Do you think that this is the proper direction for CNN? Well, of course, you already know my answer. Do you think that you will see Brian Stelter, Don Lemon, or both leave CNN, well, by the end of this spring? I think at least one of them probably will, if not both, because I think they can see the writing on the wall. And finally, do you think this could, in part, restore some faith in the news media here in this country? Well, and around the world, because believe me, CNN has turned into the laughingstock when it comes to covering news on a regular basis. So, please take the time to put some comments down below. Hopefully, we can interact on this subject, and maybe we can decide whether or not CNN has an opportunity to pull it out or not, so to speak. With that being said, support other independent creators here on YouTube and the other platforms that I stream on and I provide video content for, because guess what? They are not getting the kind of support that the larger streaming entities afford to, of course, the corporate content creators such as CNN and many others. And of course, I also have some bones to pick with Fox News and some other organizations out there, but I want to return the focus to the independent creators like myself. Please take the time to comment on their videos, hit the like button, subscribe if you regularly enjoy their content, comment as I said before, and definitely share it out, because believe me, it helps with engagement and it will drive traffic to your favorite creators. With that being said, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.